Hello everyone and welcome to my Y&R Insider 24 update channel. The Young and the Restless recap, October 20th, 2025, Phyllis crashes Christine's bachelorette party. What happened on The Young and the Restless? Amelia Heinley, Victoria, and Sean Dominic on The Young and the Restless image, JPI. Nate and Victoria arrived at the athletic club for a friendly dinner. She wondered if the dining room was open because it appeared to be sparse. Michael and Jack arrived, and Jack voiced surprise that Victoria wasn't downstairs. Danny entered and expressed his regret for being late to his own party. Upon entering the club, Phyllis observed the group laughing. Victoria realized she and Nate were crashing Danny's bachelor party. Abby and Devon entered the jazz club and were pleased when they discovered they were the only people there. Tracy and Diane walked in on the couple kissing. Tracy referred to the private party sign and warned Diane that it was a ladies-only event. Lauren emerged from the powder room as Christine descended the stairs in a white dress and cheesy bride tiara for her bachelorette party. Nate and Victoria, on the other hand, regretted interrupting the celebration. As Phyllis lurked unseen, Danny explained that he'd bought out the place and the lounge below for the night. Danny revealed that he wanted a private, special night with their closest friends and no press or fans. Nate and Victoria were getting ready to leave, but Danny invited them to join the celebration. Danny reasoned that Nate could fill Daniel's seat because Daniel was stuck in Boston. Devon appeared and mentioned that he'd just lost Abby to the party in the lounge. Danny insisted that Devon stick around, too. Victoria agreed to wish Christine well, and Nate pulled Victoria aside and asked if she was sure it was okay. She figured that celebrating their friend's love was just the thing they needed. Michael spotted Phyllis and warned her not to do anything to ruin the evening. Phyllis argued that she had made peace with Danny and Christine's gross excuse for a marriage and that she lived at the club. Phyllis recalled that she'd wished the couple well at Crimson Lights earlier, but Christine had rubbed the union in her face. Phyllis swore that she'd moved on, but Michael questioned why she was skulking about. Phyllis asserted that she'd been out running errands, and she'd seen the bachelor party when she'd returned. She found it sad and beige that a rock star had no strippers and that the boys and girls were separate. Michael urged her to go up to her suite, and he went back to the party. Phyllis barked at herself, "You are not my boss." Michael read a heartfelt message Daniel had sent in case he couldn't make it back in time. Danny toasted to Jack for introducing him to the young, beautiful girl who'd modeled for Jabbo Jr. Jack recalled that he'd done so because Christine had been nursing a crush on the cutest rock star in the world. Jack toasted to true love. Danny inquired about Amy's well-being, and Nate informed Danny that Amy's cancer was still in remission. Danny fondly remembered singing with Amy and spending time with Nate's dad. Danny noted that Devon had become a hotshot record producer, and he suggested they collaborate. Michael proposed another round of drinks. Jack praised Nate for being there for Victoria when Cole had died. Nate pointed out that both he and Victoria had been dealing with losing people they loved, and they had leaned on one another and were stronger because of it. Michael prompted Devon to share his words of advice about marriage, and Devon replied that life only got better together. The men gave Danny and Christine toasts. Downstairs at the club, Lauren observed that Christine was glowing. Victoria arrived and mentioned that Danny insisted that she join them. Victoria considered it wonderful that Christine and Danny had found one another again. Christine expressed her condolences about Cole and asked how Victoria was doing. Victoria hesitated to crash the party and dampen the mood. Christine mentioned that Chance's death had been difficult for Abby and that Nina hadn't felt like being there. Christine added that she couldn't think of a better way of healing than a night of living and laughing. Lauren piped up that it was important to celebrate the happy moments to make the difficult times more bearable. Victoria agreed to stay. Christine recounted Danny's proposal, and the guests gushed over how romantic it sounded. Phyllis sashayed in and asked if it was a private party or if anyone could join. The room fell silent. Phyllis disparagingly inquired whether Christine's outfit was a sneak peek of her wedding dress. Christine thought they'd emptied their bags of barbs earlier, but Phyllis crowed that her bag was bottomless. Phyllis was abruptly led away by Lauren so they could talk privately. Christine refused to let Phyllis ruin the night. Christine exclaimed, "Love is sweeter the second time around," as the ladies shook their glasses in unison. Christine admitted that she'd given up on love and been hesitant when Danny had re-entered her life, but things had worked out better than she'd expected. Christine anticipated that everyone in the room would find a happy ending, including Phyllis, so Phyllis would butt out of Christine's otherwise happy life. Across the room, Phyllis claimed that she had simply gone to the bar for a drink, not knowing she'd stumble across the Cricket Romalotti 2.0 kickoff party. When Christine was involved, Lauren complained that Phyllis was a heat-seeking bitch, and she wondered if Phyllis just wanted to stir things up to ruin Christine's happiness. Phyllis chirped that it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Phyllis bragged that Christine had attempted to end her life, while Lauren lectured that Phyllis was superior. Despite Lauren's request that Phyllis put an end to the animosity, Phyllis was tired of Christine viciously throwing her happiness in her face. Lauren insisted that Danny was content, and Phyllis swore that she wanted Danny to be happy. Phyllis huffed that Christine had convinced him he was, but he'd one day wake up and realize he'd made a horrible mistake. Lauren was perplexed as to why Phyllis was wasting her time and effort when she no longer desired Danny. Christine approached and jeered that Phyllis couldn't handle that she'd never have what Christine had, and Phyllis hated Christine for it. When was the last time a man looked at Phyllis the same way Danny looked at Christine? Christine wondered. Christine mocked Phyllis' brief marriage to Jeremy Stark, and she proclaimed that Phyllis was too crazy to find real love. Lauren stopped Phyllis from physically attacking Christine. Phyllis cried that she wasn't crazy. Christine apologized if she'd hit a nerve, but she thought it seemed unhinged for Phyllis to be there to cause trouble. Diane declared the entertainment over, and Victoria offered to walk Phyllis out. Phyllis sobbed that she was happy to leave, and she ridiculed Christine's loser party to celebrate her pathetic marriage with only a handful of people. Phyllis wished Christine luck chasing Danny all over the world while he tried to get away from her on every continent. After Phyllis left, Diane and Abby condemned Phyllis, but Tracy understood that Phyllis had been through an emotional trauma after Martin had kidnapped her. Victoria felt for Phyllis, but she thought her attack was uncalled for. Danny went upstairs to the bar to get a second bottle, where he met Phyllis. She inquired as to whether she was supposed to ignore the fact that the father of her son was getting married to the most horrible, unworthy individual who had just spoken hateful things to her. Michael chastised Phyllis for going somewhere she shouldn't have. Phyllis cried out that she didn't deserve to be confronted with lies and hatred. Danny asked what she'd said to Christine, and Phyllis snapped at him for assuming she'd been the bad guy. Phyllis ran away violently. Christine rushed into Danny's arms as the men entered the jazz club. Jack suggested they merge the parties together, and Michael pledged not to let anything else get them down. The lights suddenly went out, and multiple guests knowingly groaned Phyllis' name. Nate offered to investigate the situation. Danny said he would be right back and suggested that the party continue. Phyllis called out to see if anyone knew why the dining room was dark and made her way there. Danny asked if she'd done it. Nate indicated that the manager had informed him that some construction had caused the power to fail, but it would be back on soon. After Nate headed back to the club, Danny appealed to Phyllis not to leave, and she expected him to lay into her for the things she'd said to Christine. Danny asked Phyllis if she was okay after softly stating that he was concerned about her. Phyllis confided that she wasn't, and she recognized that he always thought the worst of her. She was something else, Danny said, but not in a bad way. She had been known to play pranks. He thought it was a gift that she loved and felt so strongly, but he thought she reacted violently because she didn't know how to deal with her emotions. Phyllis acknowledged that she had gone insane while being imprisoned with Sharon and complained that Christine had referred to her as insane. Danny said he was sorry that he'd hurt her. Phyllis assumed Danny thought she was a fool for holding on to someone who'd let go of her years earlier, but she swore she just wanted him to be happy. He responded that it would never be anyone else when she complained that it had to be with Christine. Because she only wanted the best for him, Phyllis reluctantly agreed to it. She was invited to join the group when Danny mentioned that he was on his way upstairs to pick up his guitar to entertain them. Phyllis declined and chose to return to her room. After he walked away, she choked back sobs and told herself she'd be okay. Danny returned to the club and announced that he'd put on a show while they waited for the power to be restored. He invited everyone to sing along as he dragged Christine to the piano with him. Danny started playing a love song as Phyllis slipped into the club. Before quietly leaving, she observed the group singing happily. When the lights came back on after Danny finished his performance, there were cheers all around. Danny told Christine he couldn't wait for their life to start again, and they kissed. You can watch The Young and the Restless in its entirety on CBS or stream it on Paramount+.